Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Financial Juneteenth, and I saw something in pop culture that kind of got my attention. It had to do with love and hip hop, and this wedding between Yandy Smith and Mendeecees Harris. In case you don't know, the groom in this family was just convicted on drug charges. He's going to do some time in prison, maybe a lot of time. He's going to pay a lot of restitution. He's probably going to pay for the rest of his life for the decisions that he made and the things he got involved with. Unfortunately, we have a society that punishes drug offenders, I would say excessively, because we know the war on drugs has failed, and it's really been one that has led to the incarceration of thousands and thousands of black men. In case you don't know, there's actually a study that says that there's a 2.1% decline in the percentage of black women who get married for every 1% increase in the black male incarceration rate. So incarceration affects black families in very real ways. And so I'm not here to judge people who choose to marry somebody who's on their way to prison, in prison, or out of prison. I'm just here to say that you should understand that there is a trade-off there. And one of the things that I saw about this wedding that kind of, that really, I wouldn't say concerned me, I would say got my attention and kind of led me to say maybe there's some perspective I can offer on this that might help people kind of understand how this kind of pops off. The big headline on the Love and Hip Hop wedding, which is treated kind of like a black version of a royal wedding, is that they spent $500,000, just blinged out on this wedding, spending, 10, 20, 30, $40,000 on cakes and shoes and flowers. I think the flowers alone cost $90,000, which to me is a little bit off because $90,000 can almost buy you a house. It can definitely give you a nice down payment on a decent house in a lot of parts of the country. So I don't know if $90,000 on flowers is a good trade, but hey, I'm not here to judge. It is what it is. But let me dig a little deeper into this and give people some context, because a lot of people fantasize about this stuff. They see this and they say, oh, look at what Yandy's wearing, look at what Mendeecee bought her, look at and it's like, okay, yeah, but let's just keep it real for a second. Here's the thing you should understand about big weddings like this. Number one, a lot of times the people who are in the wedding don't pay for the wedding. Television networks have a huge incentive to give you a whole lot of money to buy a whole lot of shit, because it really increases the ratings, which allows them to make their money back, because your wedding kind of becomes the big event, right? That's why Kim Kardashian spent so much money on her weddings, which lasted about 10 minutes. Not the one to Kanye, but the one or two that she had before that. And so sometimes these networks will spend money so that you can really just ball out on your wedding and have everybody get all romantic and fantasize about it and all this stuff. But then too, corporate sponsors sometimes will come along and they'll say, look, we'll buy you or give you a $30,000 pair of shoes if you wear the shoes on the wedding, or we'll give you a $20,000 cake if you'll use this cake, right? So corporations will come and sponsor the weddings, networks will pay for the weddings, and then when that doesn't happen, people will go in debt to pay for weddings. So a lot of people that seem to be doing really well, it's really kind of a myth. Like, a lot of people put on financial illusions for you that leads you to feel like you're not doing as well as you should be. It's almost like those magazines where they have the women that are all photoshopped and bulimic and all this other stuff, and makeup is perfect, and they have every woman thinking, I need to look like that in order to be attractive, and it's a false image, right? Well, a lot of people have financial versions of a false image. They will be so deep in debt, trying to just barely survive, but they will always put on the facade, and it comes down to a few things: driving the fancy car, living in the big house, and wearing the nice clothes, and then maybe some jewelry, as status symbols. Or you go out to the club, they're buying all the drinks, so they buy up the bar, spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in a night at the club, and you're thinking, oh, this person must be doing well. And a lot of times they're not. They're really struggling. And in fact, a lot of people go deep into debt. When the last recession happened and everybody was losing their homes, the biggest foreclosure rates, the people that had the highest bankruptcy rates and were losing their homes the most, were wealthy black people, so-called wealthy black people who lived in so-called wealthy neighborhoods, because they were up to here in debt, just trying to survive, trying to get by. So you don't want to fall into that trap. Now, specifically talking about Mendeecee's and Yandy's wedding, I mean, you can't really disconnect the amount of money they allegedly spent on this wedding from the fact that this brother about to go to prison. Prison will debilitate you financially. Prison will kick you in your ass financially. The phone calls alone cost a ton of money. They charge extra money in the commissary. You can't make very much money in prison. Prisons are a method of extracting wealth from poor people, mainly black people, because black people were the ones who get incarcerated the most. So unfortunately, when your head of household is on his way to the penitentiary, it's kind of hard to justify the idea of spending $500,000 on a wedding. I mean, I know you want it to be a special day. I know you want to feel good, but you can also feel good and have a special day that costs you $10,000 or 20, even 20. But $500,000, I think that might be a little bit too much. So what I'm just going to say to people is this. Here's a couple of real facts for you. Number one, the average wedding in America, I want to say the average costs about $25,000, which is still a lot of money, but it's not as much as $500,000. Most Americans actually spend below $10,000. The at $25,000 average is what they call skewed upward, because you have so many people that spend so much money and it pulls the average way up. But really, most people spend less than 10 grand. So when you get married, make it about love. It ain't got to be about the money. And then also, what's really important about a marriage is understanding the power of that commitment. A lot of people put more energy into planning their wedding than they put into managing and maintaining their marriage. I was talking to my homeboy Lamar Tyler the other day, who runs a really great website you should check out called blackandmarriedwithkids.com. They have maybe 400,000 Facebook fans, and all they talk about is black love and marriage. So anybody who says black people don't get married, they're a lie. Anybody who says black people don't love each other, they're a lie. Anybody who says black people don't care about their relationships, they're a lie, because they actually make a lot of money and run a really successful business talking only about love and black love and marriage. And one of the things that we talked about is how a lot of people will put more money into planning their wedding day than they put into actually making their marriage work, making it succeed. And so I compare it to sex. You look at sex. Sex can be broken into two pieces. You've got the 45 minutes to an hour or whatever it takes for you to actually make the baby, and then you got 18 years that it takes to actually raise the baby into adulthood. Well, marriage is the same way. You got the one day where you get this beautiful romantic wedding day, and then you got the rest of your life to actually make that marriage work. A lot of people don't focus on the part that has to do with the rest of their life. That's why you have people who are divorced still paying for their wedding. Some people have been divorced twice, still paying for both of the weddings. It doesn't make any sense to me. So what I would just say is very, very simple. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses. A lot of people that appear to be balling out are not really doing as well as they appear to be. If you get married, make sure it's about love. Make sure you plan. Make sure you think carefully. Talk about money with your partner so you don't end up in a dumb situation. I'm not saying that Yandy and her husband are going to be in a bad situation. I'm just saying it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And then finally, most importantly, just make common sense decisions that are good for you, and don't worry about what everybody else is doing, and don't let this stuff on TV distract you. That's all it is entertainment, and I just want to share that with you. So I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Financial Juneteenth. You take care, God bless, and I am gone. Peace.